Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us here today to talk about California and the broadband infrastructure. I'd like to thank our guest speakers for joining me to celebrate the passage of SB Senate Bill 28. We have with us here today Renee Mendez, who's the city manager for the city of Gonzales, Eva Ruiz, who's a terrific bilingual educator, and she's worked for the past 25 years teaching children, and José and Maria Alapisco, who are a tremendous community advocate and leader from the city of Gustin. In a moment, each will make some comments about the state of broadband in California, the nation's wealthiest state. This year, I authored SB 28 at the request of residents who live in rural, disenfranchised communities who suffer greatly because of the lack of high-speed, reliable internet service. This is the commitment to work collaboratively together with residents in the district that I represent. All Californians need access to real high-speed internet, similar to our need for energy and water. However, one thing remains clear: the state does not know enough about broadband access or the quality of services. So this past year, I worked hard on SB 28 to update a statute that has remained untouched for 15 years. It's called the Digital Infrastructure and Video Competition Act of 2006, or it's shortened, it's called DIVCA. DIVCA provides companies that sell pay TV services with a valuable statewide franchise agreement that grants them a monopoly to use local easements and rights of ways to build digital infrastructure to deliver pay television. For 15 years, the wealthiest companies in America built their pay TV services using these franchises, and also began to offer new products on these exact same networks. Products like broadband, voice IP, home security, and more. Products that made them lots of money because of the statewide franchise agreement. However, because only the federal government has the authority to directly regulate broadband internet services, the same state agency, the California Public Utilities Commission, that issues the pay TV franchises, is prohibited from regulating the broadband side of the business that run on these on the networks first built for pay TV. In other words, only the federal government can tell broadband internet service companies what to do. The state did not have that authority. So what SB 28 does is take the authority that the state has to regulate pay TV services and takes modest steps to modernize the outdated statute by allowing the CPUC to learn where the DIVCA granted networks actually connect, which houses and businesses have services. Right now, if the pay TV provider provides a service to one house in a census tract, then they claim to provide services to the entire census tract. And we know that that's just not true. And that data is confusing, and therefore the state is really not in a position to know if the franchise holder is doing the right thing. So what the bill does is it provides the CPUC with the ability to address customer services. In other words, whether the customer is receiving the service that they're paying for, and the ability to understand if the infrastructure has been unfairly deployed to communities, and to see if low-income residents have been unfairly discriminated from pay TV and broadband internet services. And so the CPUC is going to have the tool to be able to say, if you're providing to this one household, you don't get to claim you're providing it to the entire census tract. Really important information so that they can determine whether the franchisee is complying with DFCA. DFCA prohibits the franchise holder from discriminating against poor communities. And it's prohibited under DFCA, yet we know that many of our rural, low-income communities have not received the services, many of them that they have paid for. SB 28 will give us the information and the data that is needed to hold the pay TV and internet providers accountable and get good, speedy services to rural, low-income communities. I'm happy that SB 28 was signed by Governor Newsom and know that he has taken huge steps to push back against the status quo, where no one but the private companies know where their network infrastructure starts and stops, and only private industry controls access to vital infrastructure. And I applaud the governor's commitment to ensuring all Californians have real broadband access. SB 28 is an important first step to make sure the digital connections to California homes and businesses serve everybody. Now I would like to introduce our first guest speaker, who is a city manager of the city of Gonzales, located in the Salinas Valley, Renee Mendez. Welcome, Renee.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. Thank you for the invitation. First, congratulations to you and your staff and everyone that worked on this very important piece of legislation to get it to the governor's desk. We have had many conversations over the years about the need for broadband and just how frustrating it has been to address this issue. I realized that it was not easy, but many of us at the local level have known for a long time that eliminating the digital divide in our communities is going to take bold leadership, which you are showing, a willingness to roll up our sleeves and frankly change our approach and many outdated and no longer relevant rules. The governor's message is clear that while applauding the reforms included in SB 28, he's encouraging the legislature to consider going further, which I know, working all of us together, we're going to move forward. It is a clear sign that more needs to be done on behalf of our mayor, city council, and the residents of Gonzales. We are grateful that you are taking this on head on and helping us address this critical issue. As you know, as a community who has worked tirelessly for over 10 years to address this issue, we can tell you firsthand the difficult challenge presented by the lack of information and the unwillingness of the industry to share data. As local communities, we are tasked with responsible for meeting many infrastructure needs like water, sewer, transportation, energy, and now connectivity. And frankly, the lack of information that we all know exists has made this difficult at best. Over the course of the last 5 years, we were able to work with the Public Utilities Commission and our local provider to update our system, and still found many in our community unable to access the internet and had no success obtaining the data, though requested to determine the reasons and develop a plan to address the problem. As a result, we developed a partnership and a 2-year pilot program with T-Mobile to obtain 2,000 hotspots for our community, which as the pandemic hit proved invaluable, and I firmly believe has helped us weather many challenges faced by other communities. However, as we all know, while hotspots help address the connectivity challenges, more can be done and a lot more needs to be done. I can only now wonder what our response would have been if we had been able to obtain the necessary data to better understand the lack of connectivity that existed and plan accordingly. This is important because we were a community that was upgraded due to our efforts with the PUC and committed, and our city council approved a $600,000 investment to obtain 2,000 free hotspots. And to put it in perspective, our entitled general fund is $5 million. So we use local resources to try to help our community. This is why we believe strongly that SB 28 is a great step forward to be able to work with the California Public Utilities Commission to obtain the necessary data to plan properly and develop the partnerships and projects necessary to address this issue. In addition, SB 28, by requiring the PUC to adopt customer service requirements, and adjudicate any customer complaints bring this very important aspect into the equation. It's always been sort of a one-sided conversation, as we found out over the last 5 years. And also your efforts to bring local government to the table and provide the information and obtain the information is going to go a long way to help address this problem. Finally, while we have a ways to go, SB 28 is a major step forward to eliminate the digital divide that is necessary for education, health, economic development, accessing information, employment, and frankly, improving the quality of life of our communities, which I know you are there working with us shoulder to shoulder. So on behalf of the community of Gonzales, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your work. The city of Gonzales did a fantastic job of looking in the crystal ball and making the commitment prior to COVID that this was a good investment for the residents of the city of Gonzales. And so you were there at the right time, but you're absolutely right. Using precious, limited city dollars to provide the access doesn't make a lot of sense in the long term. And so I applaud your efforts and look forward to continue to do this work, make sure that as we deploy the resources that are in the budget for broadband services that the city of Gonzales is there and can access those resources. So thank you for your hard work, and thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you. Welcome.
Next, I would like to introduce a terrific bilingual educator who has been working with children for 25 years, Eva Ruiz. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Caballero. So as an educator for over 25 years, I must say we are completely excited about this finally getting signed and going through, because what we saw during this pandemic was a big digital divide. We saw this divide with our students in rural areas and in urban areas. We saw the haves and have-nots of who could pay for better internet service and who could not, and it was not an equal playing field. It really was unfair. It was unfair to all of our students who needed to be home, all of our educators who needed to teach from home also. And what we saw was that it was a great disservice to all of our students in California. So this bill coming through is exciting because though it may not solve all the problems tomorrow, next week, next month, maybe not even next year, it's a beginning. It's a start. It's a start that if we need to go back to educating our students from home, that they are going to be able to have fast internet service. They're not going to have to depend on a hotspot. Schools are not going to have to scurry to get hotspots out to their students. Where I live, I'm 4 miles from a coffee shop that has high-speed internet or an eatery that has high-speed internet. That's the same with all of our other students in rural areas. It's not just that they can walk a few blocks over and be somewhere that has high-speed internet. We need to have it in our homes, and it needs to be equal and it needs to be fair. And there needs to be a way for the consumers, if something's going wrong, to be able to voice their concerns. So this actually gives our consumers a seat at the table to say, hey, this is not working and how can we make it work? So this is definitely exciting. This is one step closer into lowering that digital divide that we have between our rural communities and our urban communities and students everywhere. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts that this has gone through and that it is one step closer into closing that digital divide. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, and thank you for joining us here today. I think the moral of the story is that students and teachers shouldn't have to go to a local coffee shop or a restaurant in order to access internet, that they ought to have that available to them at a reasonable price and at their home. And it's high speed. It's not just internet access that's important. So thank you. And thank you for, I know this has been a hard year plus, and particularly on educators, and I really appreciate all you do for children and families. It's really important, and thank you. Next, I'd like to welcome Gersay and Maria Alapisco. The Alapisco, who despite paying a significant amount of money every month for internet services, were unable to use their home internet to access Zoom for their school-aged children during the pandemic. And they often had to battle the extreme heat at a local park in order to get internet access to get their schoolwork done. And I know personally held a number of meetings with the Alapiscos, and they, in order to be able to participate on Zoom, they had to go to a local park and sit in their vehicles. It was over 100 degrees in some days, and it was in the 50s on other days. So I understand completely their challenges, and I'm really honored to have them join us here today. Gersay y María, gracias por su presencia. Es un placer tenerte aquí con nosotros. El micrófono ya es para ustedes.
Muchas gracias, senadora. Buenas tardes tengan todos ustedes. Mi nombre es María Alapisco y mi esposo Gersay Alapisco. Nosotros somos dos residentes que vivimos a las afueras de Gastín, dentro del condado de Merced. Nos encontramos hoy en día nuevamente en el parque de Gastín para atender esta junta. Los que nos conocen y los que apenas saben de nosotros, siempre hemos estado aquí en el parque, ya que en nuestra casa, aunque tenemos internet, no es bueno. Y al igual que nuestro hijo que está en la universidad, fue más fácil para él cuando empezó la pandemia, y en este verano que adelantó 2 clases, se tuvo que venir al parque ya que tenía mejor señal de internet. Y como saben, en esta área el clima es muy extremo, es muy caliente, muy frío o ventoso. Debido a esta situación que pasamos nosotros y más personas dentro del condado, esto es lo que nos ha motivado a seguir trabajando en la banda ancha y buscar solución a un problema que ya se tenía y que la pandemia vino a resaltar más. Como sabemos, el problema de banda ancha siempre ha sido una de las prioridades de la senadora Ana Caballero. Desde que se nos invitó a formar parte del grupo organizando cambios en el condado de Merced, nuestra prioridad, entre otros problemas que tenemos, siempre ha sido el de banda ancha. Y cuando fuimos invitados el día 10 de junio del 2020 a compartir nuestra historia en una junta comunitaria virtual de educación sobre el problema de banda ancha que tenemos en las áreas rurales, la senadora se comprometió con una comunidad a trabajar junto con los legisladores para buscar una solución al problema de banda ancha que se vive día a día.
Gracias a todos los presentes que hoy nos acompañan esta tarde. Mi nombre es Gersay Alapisco. Hoy nos reunimos para agradecerle a la senadora Ana Caballero por su esfuerzo que siempre puso por buscar una solución al problema de la banda ancha en las áreas rurales. De antemano agradecemos la invitación que nos hizo el día 25 de marzo del 2021 para contar nuestra historia en una conferencia de prensa de la banda ancha virtual, donde nos acompañaron representantes del Departamento de Educación del Condado de Merced y otros condados. El día de hoy estamos muy emocionados porque nuestro esfuerzo como grupo y sobre todo con el apoyo y esmero de la senadora en trabajar y buscar alianzas y colaboraciones con los legisladores, hoy se ve reflejado con la firma del gobernador Gavin Newsom en la legislación sobre la banda ancha. Un gran logro y un gran trabajo gracias a la senadora Ana Caballero.
Gracias.
Muchísimas gracias a Gersay y María por sus comentarios y por todos sus esfuerzos, y porque siempre has asistido a las juntas, aunque sé que es difícil, está caluroso algún día y frío el otro. Muchísimas gracias por su participación, gracias por su ayuda, de verdad. Eso me animó y me ayudó bastante a agarrar la firma del gobernador. So a big thank you to Gersay y María Alapisco for always being there, for sharing their testimonial and and showing up when it's hot and showing up when it's cold. They've always been there, and I'm convinced that that's what got us the governor's signature is people talking about how important broadband is and how important having it accessible in their own homes is. So thank you very much. In addition to SB 28, the legislature and the governor have made a $6 billion investment in infrastructure and other important broadband related bills that the governor signed this year. And we hope that it will mark the turning point that we need to make the investment in the broadband network like we have in energy, transportation, and water, and treat them like core infrastructure. All of these services connect directly to our homes and businesses, and all are required to sustain life and for participation in a modern economy. With the help of all of the individuals on this call, we fought through one of the most powerful lobbying efforts to kill SB 28, and we won. So I want to thank you for your help and support, and know that we have a lot more work to do. We're not done yet to make sure that the $6 billion effort is really gets the job done and is accessible for all of the communities that have been excluded from internet access. And so thank you all very, very much for your participation. Thank you for being here today. And I look forward to do the follow-up when the middle mile starts to get built and local government can access the resources to be able to make the investments that are necessary locally. So thank you all very much for joining us here today.